Barbershop version 1.3.0. It's been a while since I've done a video. The last couple versions of Video Barbershop have been a lot of polish and some minor tweaks and enhancements and usability kind of upgrades, I guess. So I wanted to show you kind of what has been really updated in the last couple versions and just kind of point out some of the new features. First and foremost, drag and drop is now now working, so you can drag whatever you want into it, and you can also do it multiple times, and it just keeps adding to them. So that I know there's a lot of common user interfaces. Oh, let me see if I can get this on the other side a little better so you can see the menu. So if you do open with, you should also see Video Barbershop in here for videos as well. So you can kind of use the app in a more general way that most apps work. So one of the new features has been this kind of regular and advanced controls set that I've got. So you'll see in a lot of these different sections this kind of toggle here. And so commercial detection, which used to be here as well, is now under the advanced mode. And to toggle between regular mode and advanced mode, you click this button. Got a little downhill skier here for the advanced controls. And you'll see the user interface kind of change based upon kind of a more general use, and someone that's new to the app that hasn't done a lot of video editing, I'm kind of tailoring the user interface, the initial user interface, to be more approachable. And then if you really want to dig into the nitty-gritty stuff, like you don't deal with the buttons for the incrementing the cursor a certain amount. You probably hotkey that with the number pad, or or you just don't even use them and use the mouse and ASD for the keys. It's kind of streamlined. This is in the advanced mode. A lot of the advanced mode will be kind of what you've seen before. And the simple mode in some of these are very simple. It's a very simple preset. So for the luminance remapping, there was some defaults that I had here that were presets, and then you could customize the range, however you wanted to remap the color information. In the basic settings here, in the regular controls, I've got those presets just kind of built in here. But if you want to customize it, then you're really getting into the advanced mode. And when you do have, a custom range here, you'll want to hop back into that, but it hides it here for the most case. A lot of these things that you may have seen before, I'm kind of hiding a lot of these controls. Really, this information probably isn't so valuable to most people. You're just going to shift these values around and see the differences up here. So I hide that here. Now, for some of these controls, you'll see these are centered here, but in here they're way over here. In the advanced controls, I let you go 10 times and really create some like crazy video art. In the regular controls, though, it only goes to 2 times and is much more subtle. And so for the average person that's just making some minor tweaks and adjustments, doubling up is probably the most that they'll need to do to kind of brighten it up, stuff like that. So each set has their own unique sets of controls. So in the video transform and scaling, in the regular controls, I just have a single slider for scale, and so it uniformly scales it. Before, you had to do both the X and Y independently, And as fun as that is, it's a little tedious. So actually in the advanced controls, I have it so that you can independently, adjust the X and Y if you like. But you also have the uniform scale as well. So there, that's really the only difference between these modes. However, if you make a clip in the transform, you'll see a lot of these controls are now, you specifically need to override them to see them. But in the advanced controls, you'll see that this is where the backdrop, the backdrop and keyframes are specifically under advanced controls. And so all of these sections that used to have keyframing, I've put them under the advanced controls and kind of gotten them out of the way so you don't have to really deal with them for the most part. If you are an advanced user and are playing around with keyframing, then those are available to you. Now these settings will persist across all application usages, so this does save, and if you're in this section and you switch it to advanced, when you go into the clip section of it, it uses that same setting for it. It mirrors the settings, and they'll persist. So for this one you could be advanced, but on here maybe you don't really ever do keyframing for the volume, so you just keep it simple. So you can customize each one of these sections to the types of user interfaces that you want, and the text is little simpler, not playing around with too many of the settings in the regular mode, and in the advanced mode you can really play around with the colors and keyframing and all that. So I think it really streamlines a lot of the usability, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. It's just it may be a little more hidden than than what people are used to, or maybe you've started playing with it again and you're like, whoa, hang on, what happened to all my stuff? Where's my controls that I was used to? They're there. It's all there, just making it a little user friendly. So that was a previous big endeavor. The big push for 1.3 has been the audio cache system, and being able to visualize the current decibel level, having the waveform here be representative, the color coding between both this and the waveform here being the same colors. It was all slightly off and not quite right previously. I've cleaned this all up greatly, and even like zooming in into the individual frames, if you advance, you'll see this kind of sticks. Each one of these bars is specifically a frame, one specific frame, and it matches the colors and in here, and so a lot of the consistency in here is just much better now. Now the caching that's going on, in order to get this to work, it's actually pre-processing the audio, and let me open up. So I've got this 2-hour clip here. So the 2-hour video, I'm just gonna do a quick. You'll see the waveform. So you'll see this calculating waveform in a lot of these sections that dealt with audio. Well, not that one. Let's see. Probably this one. No, audio shift. I guess it's really just the waveform. Oh, the commercial clipping. That was one thing that this also loading audio dB data. So you may not see it if you don't have it active, but if you're in the advanced mode, you'll see that this takes some time now to come up. So it's processing the audio in the background, and it's caching the information and optimizing it specifically to the waveform and the decibel levels. And when you get into the spectrum analysis, if you go into the spectral analysis, normally there's the dB levels and the frequency spectrum that's shown here. All of these will come in later now, and it takes a little time for it to process it. But once it's processed it, it's cached it, and the cache will exist for 30 days. And everything that you do from then on is then just instant. It's really, really great if you're working on large files and you're saving off a project, and the next day you come back and load the project back up. That cache data will be immediately available, and you won't have to go through any of this loading. And so it just speeds up kind of the life of the project. May not necessarily speed it up in this specific moment if you're trying to do something exact here. Yeah, I mean, you can still make these changes, you just won't see them reflected in the waveform or the decibel data information. Now, how long does it actually take to cache it? You see, it's been going on for a little while here. I've noticed it takes about a minute and a quarter, minute 15 seconds to do an hour tape. So this will take about 2.5 minutes to go through this 2-hour tape. 5 minutes, about 5 minutes for a 4-hour tape. So it's not horrible, but it's certainly a little slower than personally I would like. I'll continue to kind of look into different algorithms and ways to speed this up and have it stream in as it's doing it, instead of doing this, or specify the importance of a clip that you make over the whole thing. I'll look into that in the future, but right now, before it would do the ugly beach ball of death and slow everything down. If you're sticking with commercials, it was great. It was just pretty much instant. But most videos aren't exactly 30 seconds long. So I just wanted to give you a heads up. So there we go, popped in. So now it's all good. And if you see, we'll create new clips. They'll just pop in super fast. So it caches the entire thing in the background, and so whatever you do, it's right there, ready to do it. So like with spectrum analysis, where's my spectrum analysis? Well then, and maybe the actually, speaking of, so some of these things get staggered in. So the spectrum analysis is a lot more information, and I process the waveform first, so you get that immediate response in the decibel levels. The spectrum is kind of a slower analysis, so I do that last. So it'll come in and be available already shortly here, but not quite yet. But just to be aware of these little limitations as you're initially loading a new video and project. But then once they're in and working, then everything you're doing is just going to be super snappy. And so over the long run of a project, it's a huge benefit. In the immediate moment, it may be a little sluggish, but just be aware. That's kind of probably the biggest change in version 1.3, and I'll continue to work on it, but it was a huge change to kind of architecturally get working to support this ability to stream stuff and getting this to be able to analyze it. And there it popped up. Okay. So now we got the spectrum analysis in here. So you'll see the audio controls of visualization here under these sections. But like I was saying, now you can like zoom in and everything is frame accurate. So it's a huge benefit when you really wanted to get down into that fine level of detail. But if not, if that's if you're sticking into the regular controls and not digging into some of these crazy subsystems, um, then you probably won't notice much of a difference. What you will notice though is the speed at which you can add videos and edit them through clipping, and the visuals will come in later. But like I said before, it was kind of just grinding to a halt with large videos, and I just want to thank you for being so patient. Besides patiently watching me and discussing this and rambling on in these videos, I really appreciate you sticking with this app and getting to this point now where it's just much more streamlined and much more efficient to use. So if this is your first time watching these videos, if you aren't familiar with Video Barbershop, it's an app that I've been lovingly working on for over, actually coming up on a year. A couple more months will be 1 year. It's available for free in beta on Apple's test flight system. Link is in the description of the YouTube channel. Please do download it, test it out now, especially since it should be much more responsive to large videos. Please have fun with it, and go to town and send me feedback. Let me know what you like, what you don't like, what you can deal with when it comes to these videos. I should mention, so I have changed the noise. If you do automatically extract commercials out on a regular basis, I've changed the noise levels here. I'm using the decibels instead of what it was before, the RMS, the raw RMS data. And just a reminder, if you go to like one of the, there we go, if I can just get it. If you go to a commercial break, calibrate it. It's pretty silent. I'm just gonna maybe pop this up to 70 or so. I think 70 is actually more along the lines of some of these other spots. But you calibrate it to the darkness of the black, the noise level. You find it on here, clip all breaks. It'll go through and automatically start clipping your videos and finding those commercial breaks and all the clips in here, and you'll see them just kind of slowly stream in. So this has been updated as well. Pretty much the entire foundation of the audio system, anything that's audio related, is using this cache data system and is much more responsive and faster. But in doing so, I've switched the commercial detection over to the decibel information as well, and so that's a slight adjustment from the previous settings. But I'm not going to go through here and do the whole video. But yeah, commercial breaks should work out a little bit, maybe incrementally faster. I don't know if it was really slowed down by analyzing the audio as it was before, but it's now going through the cache data, so it should theoretically actually be faster across the entire tape. So I'll be curious if any of you notice any difference between clipping large commercials like that, or I mean large blocks of commercials out of large long tapes. So anyway, some of the other features that I'm trying to remember what what I've done is it's all been behind the scenes. Oh, video quality. That's the big one. So you can also now control the video quality. I have some presets here for, well, let me explain. So when you were exporting a video before, it was basically just taking whatever your stats on your video were before, and it was trying to convert it in the best possible quality that it could. However, it would kind of bloat up the file and make it a little larger than you would like. Now we've got these presets. If you want, so like a VHS tape, go for the low quality, especially especially if you've got like a SLP VHS tape that's already very low quality. There's no need to try to export a real high quality bitrate movie file for something that's already pretty low quality and low bitrate. But so you can now customize this. I've got kind of like, if you're dealing with Blu-ray quality, go for high quality HD on YouTube, DVD, VHS, these kind of presets to give you an idea. However, you can also hop into and customize this. So you can do specific bit rates. I've got some examples here of different types. Now, these are just kind of rough estimations. These aren't, an SLP VHS wasn't 2 megabits per second, but it gives you an idea of kind of the range of quality that you might be dealing with. So you can go absolutely insane with archive quality if you want. But the audio bit rate too, you can control. So all of these things were kind of done under the hood in the best possible quality that seemed semi-reasonable, that Apple just managed. But I'm now allowing you to go in here and specifically customize it to you. And so, like a lot of, like if you wanted to, I think, was it 128 or 96 mono, like if you were extracting specifically the audio and not so much the video, but if you wanted to grab the audio and you're going to do subtitle translations, the Whisper X, for example, they want mono channel and very specific bit rate. You can set that up here and export a video doing that. So yeah, anyway, so quality, the video bit rate and video quality. If you want to do what it was doing before, just same quality as source, that'll try to use these numbers as close as possible, and just kind of generally do a decent quality. And then it also gives you a little breakdown as to kind of what you're looking at quality wise. So that's some of the basic features since the previous update. I know it's been a while since I've done a video like this, but I'm really excited about the progress. It was a lot of under the hood kind of optimization and polish at this point. Most of the features, it's pretty feature complete. What I'm really trying to focus in on now are usability and just kind of general UI functionality and approachability. The next version 1.3.1 that I'm working on, I have a lot more information and screenshots going into the help information, both there as well as the Video Barbershop help. All of the information that's found in these individual sections you can find here, but I've added a lot more information and additional screenshots, and it's really looking good. I'm starting to work on a website to officially promote the product. So we are getting close to it getting shipped. I'm getting pretty excited. But not as excited as dragging and dropping a file in. Oh. Okay, thanks so much, and I really appreciate the support that you've shown so far for Video Barbershop, and I hope you keep track of it in the future. And please spread the word, tell your friends, post on social media, let people know. I'm on Instagram and Blue Sky as well as YouTube, so please share information and links and follow me on Instagram and in Blue Sky if you haven't already. So all right, thanks so much.